views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome to Conscious Confidence Radio, a timeless wisdom with Sarah Main. Follow host Sarah Main on her ongoing journey of conscious confidence and gain timeless wisdom to unleash unparalleled confidence. A conscious confidence. Learn to ignite the living spark of wisdom, a new narrative for fulfillment contained in Sanskrit and the ancient, powerful, engaging, and fun conscious conversations to discover your own magnificent true self. Learn to dispel the fear shadow as Sarah provides essential knowledge about embracing change and the power of transformation. Get ready. Conscious Confidence starts now.
Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You know, this has been sort of an amazing idea that we put together when we said we were going to feature some of the most incredible thought leaders of our time and bring them to the forefront. And so what got created out of this was these amazing co-hosting opportunities that I get to have with people like my friend and colleague, Sarah Main. Now, for those of you out there, this is the show that people are talking about right now, Conscious Confidence Radio, a timeless wisdom. And Sarah Main is bringing this idea forward because this is the time that new thoughts, new ideas, new narratives are being written for the energy that's being brought forward today. You know, the last show we did with Sarah, you heard us talk about how people in our pop culture are using the ancient wisdom of Sanskrit. And whether it be on tattoos, whether it be in sayings, whether it be in embracing new mantras in their lives. And today you're going to find out why. Because each month, Sarah brings us a different aspect of conscious confidence. Today in the show, you're not just going to hear about the fourfold energy of conscious confidence, but you're going to hear about what it means to live beyond limits. I love this topic for a lot of reasons, and mostly because I've gotten to work with Sarah over time and see this energy, this fourfold energy, emerge in her life as she's creating it. Sarah, what a great idea. What a great show to be talking about something that's you're actually experiencing in your life, and so are we in the world. Welcome. This is fantastic.
Oh, thank you, Pat, and hello to you and to everybody. And congratulations on 15 years of talk radio, Transformation Talk Radio. What a wonderful thing you've created. Look, I'm very excited about the fourfold energy of conscious confidence and finding the source of wisdom for this, which I think you can totally trust. It's a foundation for life. And what struck me about conscious confidence is it's like a tree, a great big tree with really deep roots that's been there a long, long time, and it's not going anywhere. And it's got this beautiful canopy of leaves and branches spreading everywhere, and it can withstand all the storms and challenges and tempests of life, and yet sway naturally but not fall over and be broken, and yet still give everyone nourishment and shelter and the sort of a place to come and find rest under those spreading leaves. And it struck me that conscious confidence is like that. Having the roots deep within ourselves and established, that's the foundation for life. And when I started researching the word confidence, when I really started asking myself, what does it mean? All of a sudden I went back to my Sanskrit, which I'd studied for decades and decades, and I looked at it in a different way, and suddenly the lights went on. And I thought, here's the answer. And there's 4 energies to it. And it's founded on our values, our core values, which determines our attitude. And if we get all those meanings right, we have this firm foundation. And we've got principles that we can trust that don't change. This is timeless wisdom. So it's not a whole lot of changing rules that are going to change next week or next year. This is timeless. And it's all we need. It's simple. There's not a whole lot of words involved. This is deep energy within ourselves, and it's the foundation for life.
I love that we're talking about the foundation for life. I'm also really acutely aware of the fact that there is a new energy that's being asked to be brought forward. You and I talked about this the other day, and talking about the energy and how and the many, many ways it's coming, like the root of the tree. The many, many ways things are being come forward. You know, the new heroes that are being, looked at now. You know, I'm not just talking about the heroes that we like to talk about, the famous people. I'm not talking about the famous people. I'm talking about the people every day that are doing things that support exactly what you're saying. And then there are the people that want to step forward in their lives, but don't know how. And these are the people you work with to help them tap into this energy, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because life is lived moment by moment. We need all these wonderful, deep values. But then when we wake up in the morning, it's a moment by moment experience, hopefully. And we want to show up and be awake for it and enjoy it and give fully. That's where the real fulfillment of life is, and it's lived moment by moment. I met a young woman recently, and she just had a simple experience, and I was talking to her about this. She had a simple experience when she was out on an outdoor program that involved hiking and camping and all that sort of thing, and she was with a group of friends. They had to work as a team, and it's a sort of a survival program, and it was raining, it was cold. You can imagine the whole scenario. It's not personally my scene, but and there she was, and because they were cold and tired and they'd been trudging through this mud and so on in the bush, and they got to the place where they were meant to make camp, and by then all her friends were arguing with each other and dredging up stuff from childhood and bickering and fighting. And all she could see was that what they needed to do was get the tents up and get some shelter. There was no criticism of everyone fighting. She just got the tent up. She put the tent up basically on her own in the dark whilst it was cold and wet in the mud. And she could just see, she gave her attention. She could see what was needed. She wasn't moved by all the sort of emotional stuff that was coming up because everyone was tired and cold, etc. And once they all got inside the tent, they all calmed down. But she provided that just by practically taking action. Now, that's practical intelligence.
Yeah. But you're absolutely right about this. And, this tree, as we talked about, and being able to see the tree sway back and forth and take enormous, in our culture, we use the word abuse, right? Yeah. And not be victimized by the outside experience. It's not say, oh my gosh, I'm a tree. I've been here a million years. How could you do this to me, right?
Exactly.
And it's funny because I was sharing a story with Linda this morning, and I play table tennis is my freedom to get out there. The little white ball, that's it. Yeah. And I was struck yesterday by how many of the people that I play with, and they're mostly men, how many of them want me to play better. And I watch their frustration in them watching me not be able to play to the level at that moment that they wanted me to play. Yeah. And I had this moment because I had talked to you, and I had this moment where I could see all the other people, like 20 plus other people, watching this one guy trying to help me in a very furious kind of crazy way. Like, why do you do that? Why like that. And I just said, you know what, dude, I really love this game. Thank you so much for helping me. And everything he said was true. But I had a choice. I could focus on the energy of that, or I could hear what he was saying despite that.
Yep.
That's so important, though, in today's world, because it's so easy to get hooked.
Yeah. But it comes back, I agree with you, it comes back to that deep connection with yourself. And everyone's saying now, just be yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and in some respects, it's the most obvious thing. It's right under your nose, but it's the one place we don't look. But we don't know how to look because we're being bombarded by so many different impressions, and especially for young people. I mean, gosh, we've got the advantage of a bit of life experience. It's hard enough for us. But for young people, you know, it's very hard for them to actually come back to who they are because of all the stuff, you know, all the popular culture that's around for good or ill. And there's so many distractions. And that does undermine confidence. And they can think they know who they are, but then when the first challenge comes in life, that whole thing, think of the tree can fall over because the roots aren't planted into that deep, 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 rich soil of yourself. And what does that mean? And that's where the Sanskrit, there's just, from my experience, there's nothing better, you know. It's direct. It's just telling you how it is.
I know. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the wisdom of Sanskrit and, you know, how does that wisdom illuminate a true meaning of the fourfold energy of confidence, better known as conscious confidence. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, Sarah Main has created this amazing way to tap into that absolute unlimited potentiality we all have. Not just about living in today's modern contemporary world, but how this wisdom is so timeless that so many people are wanting more and more and more of it, but they just don't know what the it is. Sarah has explained it and is going to share this with us today. Stay tuned, everybody. Are you ready to have that energy be part of your life? Are you ready to develop those roots that are so solid that the greatest of storms is not going to topple you? Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Wow. Hey, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. This is Talk Radio to Thrive By. I'm telling you, I got to pinch myself some days because when each of us gets called to do something that we so not thought was in our wheelhouse to do for a purpose that's so much greater than us, we get to show up and shine.
If you would like to show up and shine on the Dr. Pat Show as a co-host or sponsor, send us an email to inspire@thedrpatshow.com.
The Janice Underwood Show, helping you create the life you want, not the life you tolerate. Tune in each Monday, 9 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio as Janice delves into the life creator system and the next step in your spiritual evolution. Janice Underwood is gifted at helping spiritually minded people shift their mindsets to unleash the creator within. Our souls wish to wake us up. Those of us listening hear the call. Do you? For more information, visit janiceunderwood.com.
Are you looking for the perfect setting for your next workshop or retreat? At Spirit Fire Meditative Retreat Center, cultivating consciousness is what we do best. Our guests count on us to create an atmosphere that supports serenity and well-being. We lead from the heart and create space for the mind. Freshly prepared meals designed with local and organic ingredients, 95 acres of beautiful woods and pastures, and a facility built with green in mind. This is what you'll find at Spirit Fire. For more information, visit spiritfireretreatcenter.com.
Integrate spirituality into your everyday lives on Universe Soul Heart Radio. Tune in each month on Transformation Talk Radio as Kathleen Johnson explores the concept of sensible spirituality, keeping you grounded, connected, and centered on the path to wholeness. Kathleen has dedicated her life to facilitating holistic healing and wholeness in others. Listen to Universe Soul Heart Radio and learn how to flourish, grow, and impact all we do on planet Earth. For more information, go to universesoulheart.net.
Do you ever feel as if you're working twice as hard but only getting half as far? Are you trying to connect with your path in life and finding it elusive? Mainstream Metaphysics Radio is a weekly call-in show where we harness our connection with the universe and use what is in our power to affect change for optimal success and happiness. This hit show bridges the divide between what is and what we do not know. Eve, named one of the country's top psychics, also known as the MBA psychic, invites you on this journey for this live call-in show with readings, featured guests, leaders, and visionaries in both business and spiritual callings. So join Eve Thursdays at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com as she takes metaphysics mainstream. For more information about Eve, visit EliteTarot.com. That's EliteTarot.com. Hey, everybody, welcome back. Welcome back. For more information about Sarah and Conscious Confidence, you can find out more in two ways. You can go to sarahmane.com, and it's SARAHMANE.com, or consciousconfidence.com, and you will get to the same place and be able to find out more about Sarah, how to work with Sarah, and how to tap into this timeless wisdom. Today, we're talking about the fourfold energy of conscious confidence and what it means to live beyond limits. Sarah, we were just talking about conscious confidence as a tree with deep roots. Now we're talking about, the wisdom of Sanskrit and how it illuminates, the meaning and the purpose of the fourfold energy of confidence. So tell us a little bit about that. And where Sanskrit has been able to direct and guide through this wisdom, all of us throughout the ages, really.
Yeah, thank you. Well, the Sanskrit, the guidance is through this incredibly deep, timeless wisdom of the purest meaning of something. And if you get the meaning right, that determines, and the meaning is held in our heart. So we're not normally on the average day to day. We're not always aware of the meaning we have for something. And the meaning then determines the thoughts we think. And depending on the thoughts, they play out through the body as feelings, and that will then determine the actions. So it's the meaning in our heart for something is actually determines our life and our life experience. And when I was considering confidence, and I thought, what does it really, really mean? And I looked at the Latin, because I've studied Latin. Okay, that was fine. And then I thought, no, what does it really mean? I wanted the energy of it, and I went straight back to Sanskrit. And there were 12 words, and I researched them all thoroughly and went right back to their root in Sanskrit. And then when I looked at all these 12 meanings, they grouped into 4 energies. It was absolutely smacked me in the face. I thought, blimey, I get this. Suddenly the lights went on. And I saw this fourfold energy. And if you put these things together, put these energies together and enliven them within yourself, how could you not be confident? I suddenly thought, this is more than just being confident to stand on a stage and speak to people, because people normally think of confidence in those terms, some sort of performance, and that's one context. This is confidence for life. This is confidence in yourself, self-belief at the most fundamental level. And I thought, this is amazing. And I picked out some words so that you can actually hear some of them. So the 4 energies that became evident were focusing or focus, uniting, so unite, simplifying, and energizing. It was absolutely unmistakable. So the focusing energy, one of the words for that was dridha pratyaya. And anything to do with dridha is firm, fixed. Think of that big tree not going anywhere. Dridha is not going anywhere. And it was all about focusing, firm confidence. And for that, we need to give attention. So then there's uniting. And this is a beautiful word, asha bandha. And anything to do with bandha, band is all to do with binding. And this is a bond of hope, confidence, and trust. Isn't that beautiful? A bond of hope, confidence, and trust. Just think about having that energy in yourself. Wouldn't matter what was going on outside, you've got that. So firm confidence from focus, the uniting, a bond of hope, confidence, and trust, that uniting, bringing together. Then simplifying, asangdeha, which means not accumulating excess in your body, mind, and heart. Keeping it simple, simplifying. Because once you accumulate, things get confused and doubt comes in. So if you don't accumulate, if you let things go and keep it simple,
Totally.
then you haven't got that doubt and confusion covering everything. And the last one was energizing. And that there were a lot of words on this, which the main one I've picked out is vishwasa. And that all comes from prana, breathing and breath. And it means to draw breath in freely. And we know that if we're confident, we breathe deeply, we breathe naturally. So what I loved about the Sanskrit, between focusing, uniting, simplifying, and energizing, it took right from giving attention, what was in our heart and our mind, right through to our body. It covered everything. And I thought, this is more than just getting over stage fright and performance anxiety sort of confidence. This is what you need. This is your foundation. And the first thing I thought, and I'd already stopped teaching by then, the first thing I thought of was, God, if I had known this when I was in the classroom, nothing would have stopped me. Imagine giving this to young people directly, simply like this. And then, you know, they all have heroes in their lives. They have people that they admire, and they will recognize that in the people they admire. It could be a family member or a friend. But these are the real examples that allow all of us, but young people, just think of that, young people finding their way in life, having these basic principles of focusing, uniting, simplifying, and energizing. And that young woman in the putting up the tents in the rain and the mud, that's exactly what she did. She focused, she simplified by not paying attention to any of the arguments, which was natural. The others just were tired and upset, and they just defaulted to being victims in that time. She took action with energy. She was totally creative, right? Need to get some shelter up for everyone. And that brought everyone together because they all calmed down. They apologized to everyone once they were safe and warm inside the tent. You know, it's so simple and so practical.
It is.
But
it is.
Utterly transformative.
It is. And what I love about that story is that each of us gets to choose.
Yeah.
See, you know, we get to choose what part of energy that is going to distract us from meeting our purpose, our life purpose, perhaps. Yeah. You know, what distractions are we going to have? I wrote an article once called The Law of Distraction, you know, because so much of my life was not about the law of attraction. It was about the law of distraction. And it's fascinating when I think about that. You know, it's so happens so easily. That was a perfect example, Sarah. But, you know, when we think about our day and what we feel we're called to do in that day, and you know what? Sometimes the focusing is on doing our laundry. Yes. Or it's on something that seems so benign in life, right? It's not like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be speaking in front of 1 million people. It's something other than that. But each are equally important, aren't they?
Yeah. Look, doing the laundry is a universal moment. Every moment is a universal moment. The universe doesn't just appear when we decide we're going to have a nice experience, you know, or doing something amazing like standing in front of 1,000 people talking. Doing the laundry is a universal moment. And it depends whether we've chosen to actually give our full attention and connect with the universality of the moment. The fact that we happen to be doing the laundry is really immaterial. That's just a context. But the choice to actually live each moment as a universal moment, we need to be connected with that. And that means connected within ourselves, because we are universal. Our being is universal. And that's the one thing about confidence. This is universal, the energy that comes through the Sanskrit. I'm telling you, it was unmistakable. There were these 4 energy centers, and they all perfectly worked together. It was like the 4 legs of a table. If you take one away, the table would fall over.
Yeah. Yes. And, we're going to talk more on the show today about what each of them means. And, especially in the next segment, because I was fascinated by this in that how this comes together in so many ways. One of the things that I find is that, many of us go through life and we don't get involved in group kinds of things, team kinds of things. We used to in our society be able to be an island, onto ourselves. Now the world has changed. We're being asked to come together, whether it be work, whether it be play, whether it be in our communities. And so focusing without uniting is not very sustainable here to accomplish very much, period. Right? Yeah. And so when we put them all together, the question is really, how do we create the life we want? And I think that's what we're talking about today.
Absolutely. And that's part of what became obvious to me was not just the fourfold energy, but I suddenly realized how you do that. It was within all that knowledge. That's the brilliance about Sanskrit. It tells you where to find it all. That was the easy bit.
Yeah. Well, let's take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about how each of these, how these focusing, uniting, simplifying, energizing, how we can use them every day, almost like breathing, so that when we step out into the world, we're directing ourselves into a place that is so effortless. Let's take a short break, everyone. Sarah Main, Conscious Confidence. We'll be right back.
When we said goodbye, the world turned a darker shade. The dust settled down.
If you're dealing with fear and anxiety, you've probably noticed that the more you fight these emotions, the stronger they seem to get. Dr. Friedemann Schaub, the author of The Fear and Anxiety Solution, explains that instead of suppressing, we need to identify and resolve the deeper, subconscious root causes of fear and anxiety. His personal breakthrough program has helped thousands worldwide to overcome their emotional challenges. To learn more, visit thefearandanxietysolution.com and schedule your free consultation with Dr. Schaub now.
Your happiness is your choice on Natural Peace Radio. Follow Sarah Van Ryswick as she addresses the power of emotions. Each month, Sarah covers different topics as she helps listeners activate their energetic spark and create powerful energy and amazing opportunities. Manifest your desires with Natural Peace Radio. For more information on Sarah and her work, visit naturalpeaceliving.com.
To see your life from an angel's perspective, book a personal consultation with Claire Candy Huff, angelic walk-in angel Ariel at Angel Healing House. Candy provides intuitive counseling, Reiki, and angel readings in person in Los Angeles or nationally and internationally via phone or Skype. She will channel the practical tools you need to transform your life. Call now 831-277-3716 or visit angelhealinghouse.com.
Tune in to The Jen Royster Show, intuitive guidance to inspire your life, each Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific and 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This amazing show is an inspirational hour that will take you on an epic metaphysical journey to discover the spiritual approach to life's greatest challenges. Dr. Jen is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. Call in for intuitive readings and visit JenRoyster.com for more information.
Hey, did you know why they call the foundation? It's called the foundation because it completely eliminates your foundation for what you thought your reality was and creates a whole new space where you can have an entirely new reality that is foundationless. So from my point of view, they should call it the unfoundation or the foundationlessness. Either way, there's a big new global rewrite happening again because these guys cannot stop changing. There should be like a Change Anonymous that Gary and Dane go to. And it's happening April 28th to May 1st. You can find out about it at accessconsciousness.com/global foundation. It's happening in Paris. Go to Paris, or do it online, or find a pod near you. These are all the options you have. And what else is possible?
But dark clouds, they turn to white, and sunlight hit my skin. I looked up.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. Welcome back. It's so great to have all of you tune us in and turn us on. I am here with Sarah Main, Conscious Confidence Radio, and what we're talking about today, and for those of you that are just joining us, we're talking about the fourfold energy of conscious confidence. What does it mean? Well, what it means is that we get to live beyond limits, whether they're perceived limits or real limits or no limits, all of the above. Today's show is to show you and introduce you to a fabulous way that Sarah works with people all over the world to help them live fully in life, to be consciously confident. To do that, no matter what you're doing, what your circumstance is, why is that the energy you want to bring forward? Today we're hearing about it. In the process, Sarah, you've developed a way to help people and work through how to incorporate in their daily lives, the elements. And one of the ways you've done it is you've created F.U.S.E. Let's talk about that today in more detail. It's a program that's self-directed, but it helps us to strengthen, to self-improve, to self-empower.
Yep. The F.U.S.E. program, I mean, the important thing to me was that it was self-directed, because if we're dependent on some external source for the information, then that to me is a contradiction in developing confidence within ourselves. So we need the knowledge, but then to be able to enact it ourselves and apply it ourselves, take some simple principles that don't change and apply them. And that's how we're going to deepen our awareness of ourselves and deepen the connection within ourselves. And so I took the focusing, uniting, simplifying, and energizing, which is the F.U.S.E. of F.U.S.E, and rather beautifully, when I looked at the Sanskrit and looked at the English of that, it fell into the word F.U.S.E. quite naturally. I didn't actually have to make that up. It told me, which I loved. So then just to keep it really practical and simple, because my aim was that it was something that was easy, simple, and practical. People hear Sanskrit and they think they've got to be a Sanskrit scholar. Well, that rules me out. But this is for everyone. It's so easy, simple, and practical, because the alternative, from my point of view, was something that was hard, complex, and useless. So I thought, well, what's the point of that? So something easy, simple, and practical. So if you take focusing, the simple practice is giving undistracted attention. And the key word there is giving. So with focusing, it's giving undistracted attention. And your comment in the previous segment about if we stay focused without the uniting, it can become rather narrow.
Yeah.
Just take the word there. It's giving undistracted attention. So then uniting is embracing all situations with patience, understanding, and an open heart. So embracing, so you've got giving and then embracing. Then the third one is simplifying, staying with essentials and letting go of the non-essentials. So we've got giving, embracing, and staying with. And finally, energizing, living each day with enthusiasm, creativity, and vitality. So that's living. So the 4 practices are very simple, 4 words: giving, embracing, staying with, and living. And if you took just one of those and spent one day remembering as often as you could, often as you can, I'm going to give undistracted attention today. Cleaning my teeth, driving the car, making a sandwich, listening to someone when they speak, listening to your voice when you speak to someone else, paying attention when you write or type, just give undistracted attention. If the distractions come in, let them go. Bring your attention back. Bring your attention back. And again, and again. Gently, calmly, carefully. By the end of the day, if you took stock of the day and did a review, you would feel different. I know that because I've practiced it for years. Because giving attention brings you right into the present moment every single time to what's in front of you, what you're doing. Yeah. And you become aware of the distracting thoughts. Let them go. Then embracing all situations with patience, understanding, and an open heart. You know, standing in a supermarket queue when someone's taking forever and they have to do 3 price checks on the person in front of you, and you're waiting and you've got to get to some other appointment and you're getting frustrated and you think, oh, why is this happening? You can be as spiritual as you like, but life is lived moment by moment, and spirituality can go out the door in a supermarket queue when you're being held up. So just remembering, embracing all situations with patience, and already you're stepping over those limits which hold us back. So between giving attention and embracing, already those limits, they have no place in that, because we're opening ourselves up every moment. And then simplifying, staying with the essentials. This is a challenge. This takes attention and focus.
Yeah, boy.
Letting go of the complications of the past. Like, why did they do that to me? Why is this happening? I used to do this. You know, all of those complications, which are all limits, they're all barriers to us living fully and universally in every moment, taking full, embracing all the opportunities of every moment. So staying with the essentials and letting go of the non-essentials, actually realizing what's not essential in the moment. You need to be awake for that. Mm-hmm. And then energizing, actually living each day with energy, with enthusiasm, even when you don't feel like it. Find something wonderful to actually do, one step at a time. And then following up, taking action on creative opportunities that are presenting themselves all the time in their life, in your life, once you actually open up to it. So you can already hear, just by those embracing, giving, embracing, staying with, and living, if you just took that, one of those a day, by the end of the week, that experience for the week would be quite different.
Yeah, I love what you're talking about, Sarah, for a lot of reasons. Let's talk about some of the things that come up in our lives. You can have a range of thoughts, especially if you are somebody. It doesn't matter that if you're, let me use the word, stuck. It doesn't matter if you're struggling. It doesn't matter if you're having an amazing life. Everything about your life is golden. Yeah. But you just touch it and, there it is. Yeah. None of that really matters, because what you're sharing crosses all of those boundaries and those characteristics. Yeah. It's for everyone to use. So the question really becomes, what the heck is the benefit of us focusing on a future that hasn't really happened yet, that involves not having enough, not enough money, not enough love, not enough this, not enough that, not a job that's going to serve us, not enough in our 401k. And yet those moments are not fleeting. They're obsessive moments that we remind ourselves of. And then if we do that, we're not able to do what you just so beautifully described, so that the possibility of what we might do, what action we might take, is revealed to us. See, that's the key. Yeah. You know, we're cutting that enormous conscious creation off, aren't we?
Completely, yeah. And the thing is that the F.U.S.E, the fuse, the heart of that, it rests on a knowledge and a connection to our core values and to our attitude that we have. So if we actually go back, and the Sanskrit about values, we've spoken about this before, the values in Sanskrit, it talks about the root of something that the root that something grows from, again, the image of the tree growing from a seed is value, and also that which we honor, like we welcome an honored guest into our home. So just think about, what honored guest do we welcome into the home in our heart? And if we thought about that when we wake up every morning, what is so that gives us the meaning for the day. If we think about what's important to us, is it freedom? Is it love? Is it service? Respect? If we base our life on those core values and then say, right, well, I have to pay attention to my attitude every day. You know, there's research that we think about, I think it's between 60 and 70,000 thoughts a day.
Yeah.
And between 85 and 95% of those thoughts are repetitive. And out of all those repetitive thoughts, they say it's about 85, 90% of them are negative.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That, if we're not staying conscious and mindful and giving attention, that is what's playing out. Completely unconsciously, unwittingly. And, you know, it doesn't matter whether you've got all the money in the world or you have nothing. If you're not awake, that's what's happening. That's the reality, actually. So this requires actual conscious connection with what's important to us. What honored guest are we welcoming and allowing to dwell in our heart in the form of values? And then our life springs from that. What's our attitude? We're very careful about our thoughts if we realize that 95% of the repetitive thoughts are negative in some way. Low-level negativity, but negative nonetheless, unless we're making a positive choice all the time about the quality of our life. And that comes back to the meaning we have and the connection with ourselves. And then the F.U.S.E program, from my point of view, is a no-brainer after that.
Yeah.
That's what got me. I thought, this isn't hard.
Yeah. But, you know, Sarah, and for those of you listening, we're going to skip this last break because there's so much to talk about. I don't think I'm alone when people ask me this question a lot now, and I'm actually getting out more, believe it or not. I don't spend all my time doing radio and table tennis. But I'd like to. But they asked me this question, and, you know, the question comes in a lot of different forms, but it kind of boils down to a couple things. What keeps you going? That kind of thing, that question, right? You know, where do you get this stuff from, right? You know, like somebody heard a conversation I was having the other day on air, and they're like, what's wrong with you? I mean, why don't you just sell the whole thing and ride off into Costa Rica or someplace? You know, I mean, my gosh, you could sell Transformation Talk Radio and the network for like a couple of million. Why don't you just do that? And I'm like, that's not why would I do that? I'm having too much fun. So from somebody else's perspective, they have something going on that doesn't belong to me. And our lives are full of that, right? Yeah. Whether it's walking into a place and you decided to get a Sanskrit tattoo on your neck, right? And you walk into a place that bothers some people, it doesn't belong to us. So uniting, right? Let's talk about this now.
Yeah.
Uniting. How can I feel patient and at peace with myself and others right now, right? I was telling you about that thing playing ball yesterday.
Yeah.
Right? And I'll tell you what, I just laughed and said, yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And by the way, I still couldn't do what he was telling me to do. I'm just going to say, but I have a new awareness. Tell us about this uniting, because I think it's one of the most important. I think everything comes apart if we can't do this.
Yeah. Well, uniting, you're not actually going to unite unless you are united with yourself. If you're divided with yourself, that is, and this is very simple, not connected deeply within yourself, which is beyond words. This is an energy where you're actually connected with yourself. Very simply, then you can go around trying to unite everyone, and frankly, you'll just create more division because it's coming from a point of division within yourself, despite how it looks. So it does start with the connection with your values and the attitude, but it starts by actually focusing your attention in the present moment. And then the uniting, to actually enact the focusing, uniting, simplifying, and energizing, the best way of practicing is giving attention, embracing all situations, staying with the essentials and letting go of the non-essentials, and living each day with enthusiasm. The best way, the self-directed way, is to just keep asking yourself questions. And Tony Robbins is reputed to have said, although they're not sure about that, but he's reputed to have said that the quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions you ask yourself.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Oh, yeah.
Because
I agree.
It's just keeping those open-ended questions keeps you awake and aware and keeps raising your awareness. So, for example, with focusing, just keep asking, what am I giving my attention to right now? Just need to ask the question and then see what comes up. And you'll see if you've been trapped in some limited thought pattern, and you can let it go. But without the question waking you up and raising your awareness, you're going to stay asleep. Similarly with uniting, which is your question, do I feel patient and at peace with myself and others right now? Now, that takes a bit of honesty with yourself to ask that question when you're frustrated, like your partner. Try, obviously in some form or another, caring for you, even though the form of it was rather vigorous, let's put it that way. But what teacher hasn't been vigorous from a motivation of love for a student? I mean, I have, because I've cared so much about that student and I wanted to get that child past some limit.
Yeah.
And, if you speak nicely to them, they just stay asleep. They had to actually have a bit of jolt of energy. And I've certainly had that delivered to me as well, and I've never forgotten it. Once I actually reframed the vigorous experience and opened myself up to it, all I experienced was love pouring out of the person as they tried to actually get the message through my thick skull. And then it changed my life.
Well, so I love that we're talking about this because, folks don't know how you and I, for example, prepare for today's show.
Yeah.
Right? We prepare. And why is that? I'll tell you why I prepare. First of all, it is in absolute respect for your life's journey and what you've done. Secondarily, it's in absolute respect for all the people that listen and watch this, and honoring each person as you do on their journey. And then lastly, it's to stop and honor everyone that is touching this message today in some way. The team here, the people in your life, right, that guide us. But it leads me to the last thing I want to touch upon before you share this beautiful prayer. It's the one thing that people say about me most and that I get criticized most about. And it's not the color of my hair. It's energizing. It's this thing.
Yeah.
Do I feel enthusiastic and ready to take dynamic action in each day?
Yeah.
They don't call me Dr. Positivity for nothing. But does that mean I have a bad hair day? I do. And man, everybody here at this office will tell you when I'm having that day because it's in such contrast, right? Right? Yep. But you will never see me, for example, playing table tennis, bang my paddle, but I may have that look and I may turn around and say, oh, so now Linda has pointed out to me, stop it. I've never heard you talk bad about yourself when you're playing. Stop it. Now I'm aware. But this energizing, tell us about this. This is this is the missing link, I think, for so many.
Yeah, well, I keep referring back to the one before every time you ask, but the one before energizing is simplifying.
Yeah.
Now, simplifying comes back to letting go of the non-essentials, right, and staying with the essentials. So a question like, am I willing to step clear of complications and make the effort to keep things simple? Because sometimes it does take a little bit of an effort. It's easy just to hang about in some old story in your head. And the thing is, if you do that, it will sap all your energy. We literally hemorrhage energy, precious energy within ourselves, if we're stuck in all that old stuff from the past or worrying about the future. We're hemorrhaging energy, and it's totally unproductive. It's just going round and round and round. So simplifying, am I willing to let go of, step clear of complications and make the effort to keep things simple? Just coming back to that question and letting go, you'll find you suddenly have all this energy and you're energizing. And you feel energized and alive. And then, do I feel enthusiastic and ready to take dynamic action each day? If you've simplified, the answer will be yes. You know, you've got space in your mind, your heart, and your body. There's energy, and you'll do it. But when you're bound by this sort of confusing, conscious, confidence-sapping accumulation, that's why the simplifying, you think, well, what's simplifying got to do with confidence? But when you get into the energy of what we're talking about, it's essential, because then it releases to simplify, release all that accumulation of the past, be in the present moment, which is a universal moment, every single moment. Then you're full of energy. And that's where the living beyond limits comes in, because your attention's here. Mm-hmm. You don't feel separated. You feel embracing the moment. All the accumulations are let go, and then you're full of energy, ready to take action. Mm-hmm. And it can be simple actions like doing the laundry, as we talked about, or it could be some opportunity comes up, like you sending an email to me in about November 2016 saying, "Hi, you want to talk?"
Yeah.
and here we are in 2018 talking about conscious confidence. Had I not actually taken action and replied to you, and then you talking to me and questioning me, and then saying, see what comes up, and and then me following things up and taking action and thinking, I don't understand this, going back to the Sanskrit, and then follow as the inspiration started coming, trusting myself, applying what I was learning in a very direct way, because I've got 40. Most of my life is spent studying philosophy and meditation and putting it into practice. It was meant to practical philosophy and wisdom. I've had virtually my whole life at this stuff. Yeah. And this was new.
Oh, I love that you brought that up. We should actually do a show and talk about that journey, because it's so perfect. One of the things I love is how you capture the essence of this. And today you've created and have a beautiful ancient peace prayer. I would love for you to share that now, Sarah.
Thank you. This is it's a peace prayer. It's all about peace. The word shanti in Sanskrit means peace. And it's from the Yajurveda. So this is, thousands and thousands and thousands of years old. And the English says, in heaven peace, peace in the space between, on earth peace, on the waters peace, in plants peace, in trees peace, peace in all powers, in spirit peace, peace in everything, peace, alone peace, 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 peace. So that's the English, and this is the Sanskrit. Om Dya Shanti Antarikshan Shanti Prithvi Shanti Apa Shanti Oshadhaya Shanti Vanaspataya Shanti Vishwe Deva Shanti Brahma Shanti Sarvam Shanti Shanti Reva Shanti Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
I'm going to share that with the world. That is so beautiful. I'm trying to bring myself back because Benny's trying to tell me you're doing a radio show, Pat. Oh my gosh. Sarah, thank you so much for all that you're doing in the world. I'm so excited about this journey that we get to share with you and the lives that you're touching.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for today. And I so look forward to what we're creating together here that we don't even know about, right?
No.
I didn't know that this is what we would be doing. For those of you out there, please visit sarahmane.com, the website, sarahmane.com, or Conscious Confidence. Go ahead and Google it, consciousconfidence.com. Thank you, Sarah, for an amazing message today, and many blessings to you.
Thank you, Pat.
The preceding audio was via a Skype call.